Hello beautiful glam girls, welcome back to another video. This is going to be another coffee table talk or coffee glam talk. It really should be tea time because I'm usually drinking tea or just water. Today I'm actually drinking some chamomile tea. This mug my mom bought me or gave me I think last year. I don't know where it's from, but it's so freaking cute. It's the perfect mug for tea time. I definitely want to do all the topics that you guys give me for videos. So like I said before, if you have a topic in mind, please just DM me or snap me. Well, I think my snap messages are off, but contact me in any way. Leave a comment on this video, leave a comment on any video that you're watching, and just say I have this idea for a coffee video or talk video or coffee table talk video, tea time video. This is what I want. So this recommendation for a video actually came from a DM on Instagram. So thank you for your recommendation or your suggestion for a video. It was more, I think, of a request. You said that you will be flying soon and you know that I fly, and you wanted me to do kind of like a flying while fat kind of talking video, my opinion, my experience, suggestions, I guess, how to make it better or anything like that. So if you are a new follower of mine, like very recent, then you may not know, but I do fly. I haven't been like out of the country, but I have flown many times to Puerto Rico. I have flown to Michigan, Vegas, Florida, where else? But mostly my flying, I have flown many times, but a lot of those times were to Puerto Rico. But flying is flying, and my longest flight was the 6-hour flight to Vegas. And so I do have a lot of experiences flying, a lot of experience flying. I've flown in different airports, I've flown to different states, so and I've flown many airlines. This is the biggest I've ever been in my entire life. So being that I just flew my size, I feel like I have a good understanding of flying while fat, and I could definitely give you guys some insight, I guess. So one of the things straight off the bat that really helps me, oh sorry, something's in my eye. If I look weird, it's because something's in my eye. I'm trying to catch it. Is the fact that I don't fly alone. So I haven't flown alone since I was literally a kid, and my mom like sent me to Puerto Rico and I, you know, flew by myself. But I always fly with Antonio. He's always with me, and it just makes me feel a lot more comfortable to know that he's there with me, that I don't have to sit alone and sit next to a stranger, because with him I can kind of lean on him and my body can touch his and kind of be smushed next to his, and it's not uncomfortable because he doesn't mind me touching him. And that's one thing that really relieves a lot of my stress, because I'm so anxious when it's time to fly. I get that anxiety of like walking into the plane and the aisle is so small and the seats are so small, and you know, every time you go on a different jet, the size is going to be different. Even if it's the same airline, they always are coming up with new jets and new planes and stuff. So every single one is different. Sometimes you'll get a bigger seat, a smaller seat, more space, less space. And then sometimes the flight will be really full or not as full. I mean, we were lucky enough one time that our flight was really not that full. So our seat, you know how it's 3 seats, ours was empty. So it was the 2 of us and an empty seat, and we had all that space throughout the flight. So we have gotten lucky, and then there have been other times where the flight was super packed. But having someone to travel with and making sure that you get to sit next to them really takes a lot of the anxiety away, because you could sit whether you're on the middle, no matter what seat it is, if you have your spouse next to you, you feel comfortable because you don't have to touch a stranger. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that I do ask for a seatbelt extender. I have very wide hips, so the seatbelt goes from hip to hip. It doesn't go from waist to waist, it goes from hip to hip, and that's my biggest spot. I have a small waist, but my hips are my biggest area. So I do have to ask for a seatbelt extender. And the first time it was a little, you know, embarrassing, or a little, intimidating, but after the first time, I really just got over that super, super quickly. And I always, before we take off, when the flight attendants are like coming back and forth, fixing the bags and all that stuff, I just stop one and I say, hey, when you get a chance, I need a seatbelt extender. And I've never had anyone forget about me. I think one time I had to mention it again before we took off, like, hey, I need that seatbelt extender. But you'd be surprised, no one has ever looked twice when I ask for one. No one has ever made me feel bad about asking for one. If anything, I think that they are nicer to you when you ask, because, you know, they probably feel some type of way for you, like, oh, she must be embarrassed or whatever. So they actually act way nicer. And, like, I'm not embarrassed about it, because to me, it's my hips. They're really, really big, and that's just the fact of the matter. I'm not embarrassed about it. I will always just ask outright. If you are a little bit more embarrassed about it, you can ask more quietly when you first get on, or you can just do the you can just skip all that altogether and go online and buy your own seatbelt extender that you can travel with, and get one that's like a fits all. And every time you're on a flight, just have it in your carry-on, and when you are, you know, gonna put your seatbelt on, you have your own seatbelt extender. You never have to ask someone about it. I personally just don't think it's necessary. I don't mind asking. That's what they're there for. I'm already paying how much it is, $400 for a seat on this plane. The least they could do is give me some free headphones and give me a seatbelt extender. I don't care. So, like I said, the first time it was nerve-wracking, but I got real used to it, and now I don't mind. I have no qualms about it. And like I said, no one around me has ever looked twice. Another thing is that I think overall we're at a point where most people feel uncomfortable on planes. Tall people, normal sized people, because they're just getting so packed and so small. I think everyone kind of has anxiety about flights now, and more people are fat these days. So it's like you walk on a plane and I see other fat people, so I don't feel so out of place. And I think another thing is not to be so concerned with everyone else. And I know it's so hard to say. Believe me, I'm the first person to be like, it's easier said than done. But when I walk onto a plane, I try not to look at anyone, and I just keep my eyes to the back of the plane, looking for my seat, and I just walk through. I don't think twice about how big my hips are. I don't think about it, because you know what? I deserve to be on this flight just as anyone else, and I know that I paid for my seat and I deserve to be on the flight. Like, it is what it is. I'm not going to get any smaller by being anxious about my size. I have to get on my flight and get where I need to go and enjoy my life. So I definitely don't look at anyone, because people will make you anxious. They'll look at you like, oh my gosh, she's so big, whatever. But another thing you have to remember is that a lot of that is your own insecurity. They look at anyone when they first walk in. You know what I'm saying? Like, think about yourself when you're on the subway or you're on the bus. When someone comes in, what's the first thing people do? They look, and then they look away. It's just natural, because as humans, we're always on the hunt. We're always on the prowl. We're always watching our surroundings to make sure we're okay. It's an animalistic thing about us. It's not always that people are looking at you because you're ugly or you're big or whatever. That's usually your own insecurity that's coming out and changing how you perceive things, when really it's just people looking to look, and then they're going to go back to what they're doing, and in 2 seconds, you're going to be walking past them, and you're going to be in your seat, and you'll be fine. And I always get anxiety, so don't think that I'm perfect. I'm always anxious, especially this last time, because the last time we had flown before we went to Vegas was a few years ago, and I have gained weight since then. So I was really anxious. I was like, oh God, I gained weight, like I'm not going to be able to fit on this flight, like I'm scared, and da-da-da, and, you know, and it was fine. I had no troubles. It was fine, and I think that, like I said before, it's easier said than done not to be anxious. I think just remember, the anxiety is only for that moment. Once you get to your destination and you have your fun, the trip back usually is going to be way less anxious, because you did it already once on your way there. And once you get to your destination and you have fun and you're living your life and you're enjoying yourself, you're gonna be like, wow, I'm so glad I, you know, went through that anxiety, because now I'm having the best time ever. And it's not fair that we should have to stop living our lives or not go on vacations, not enjoy ourselves, not go to the destination weddings of our family members or wherever it is that you're going, your business trip or anything like that. You know, traveling is such an important part of humanity, of the world. Like, we should all have the ability to travel and have fun and see different places, and we shouldn't let our like size define us, define our lives and take over and not let us enjoy our lives. Someone's calling me. Now, I've been getting a lot of weird calls lately and I'm scared. I only have like one dead relative, so if it's him, he's been calling a lot. Grandpa, I get it. We'll talk later. The thing that I want to talk about is Benadryl. I am a Benadryl queen, and I definitely think that if you have a lot of anxiety and you're going to be on a long flight, definitely bring some NyQuil or some Benadryl or something, some type of sleeping aid or some type of relaxing pill. I'm not saying like pop a bunch of Xanax, but if you gotta, you gotta. But I'm not anti Benadryl. If I'm on a long flight, I'm going to take my pill and I'm going to go to sleep, because that will really help alleviate a lot of your stress and anxiety, to just take a nap on the flight, try to sleep a few hours of the flight and not think about it so much. Okay, sorry if this video gets choppy, but I had a business call, so I got cut off while I was filming, and so I don't really remember exactly what I was talking about. I think what we're talking about Benadryl and basically drugging yourself to sleep on the train, on the bus, on the bus, on the plane. Overall, I think that we really just have to allow ourselves to enjoy life and allow ourselves to feel worthy of all the experiences that other people give themselves and allow themselves. And I think that if you have the money to spare, definitely, if you can, get 2 seats if you're anxious and you're flying alone, especially if you have a really long flight, because you know it can be really difficult if you're staying next to a stranger and they make you feel uncomfortable. I never personally had to ask to, you know, have my seat moved or anything like that, but I'm sure that it's possible if you talk to the people on flight. I've seen people change their seats before, so I'm sure it's possible. If I ever fly alone, I would definitely do like an updated video to let you guys know my experiences flying alone and what I did to make it more comfortable for myself. I think another thing is to make sure that you're prepared, have everything you need in your carry-on to reduce your anxiety. What I did was I had a fanny pack that was separate from my carry-on. No one gave me any trouble about it because it was little and it was on my waist, so no one made it like a big deal, like, oh, that's another purse. But in my fanny pack, I had like everything that was super necessary, quick to reach. So my headphones, cough drops, my Benadryl, hand sanitizer, my ID, things like that, so that when I was in line, I didn't get flustered because I was already anxious. So I had everything really readily accessible to myself, just to keep myself as calm as possible. Try to be early or on time. Just do everything you possibly can. Be rested. Get the flight that you feel works best for you. So if you know you're not a morning person, don't go in the morning. Get an afternoon or a night flight or whatever it is. If you're a night owl and you can do a red eye, do a red eye. Just do anything that will help kind of relieve your stress and make your travel experience better for you. As well as carrying, you know, your favorite book or your iPad with your favorite movies, whatever it is. Definitely invest in just making your experience flying the most comfortable and enjoyable as possible, because it really makes a difference if you are having a good time and you're really just feeling good, you know. And try to vlog yourself. Even if you don't have a YouTube channel, take videos of yourself, everything you're doing, to have those memories, so that when you get home you can look back and say, you know what, all the anxiety, everything was totally worth it. Like, we had such a great time. Look at everything we did. You know, definitely just immerse yourself in your experience, because I think that just makes it feel so much more worth it than those 5 minutes of anxiety. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful. If there's anything I forgot, I'll link it, or I will write in the description box anything that I could think of after I finish filming, because my camera's dying. And there are some great articles by some other fabulous bloggers if you want to read some stuff that's similar to this video. Definitely Google and just do research, and just take a breather. think about how lucky you are to even be able to fly. Think about the people who can't afford to fly and the people who are too big to fly, because that is an issue. There are bigger people out there who are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pounds and can't even fly. So just be grateful that even if you're going to be a little snug, that you can fly. I don't take it for granted at all. And so being able to fly is something that I don't take for granted. It is such a gift that I can fit in the seat even if I'm a little snug, even if it's a little uncomfortable. I'll take it, because you know what, I get that experience. And so I just try to think of it that way, and just try to think with a grateful heart, a thankful and grateful mind, and just enjoy what I'm doing. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful, and I'll see you in my next video. Thank you for watching. Stay glam. Love you.